Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the first episode of whatever this is called. Vishnu, can you join me, please? Am I audible? Hello. So, this will be the first episode of, we don't know whatever we're going to call it, but the name of the first episode is this a podcast? And we'll figure that out. I hope I'm joined by Vishnu. Vishnu, hello. Is he here? Vishnu, are you here? But whatever. By the time he joins in, let's see how many people are watching our live. We just published it, and hopefully, it's going to be a good experience for all of us. And
Hello,
I'm
my
not on
son.
mute.
You were
I'm
on
not
mute.
mute. Your headphones wasn't working.
Oh, makes sense. That's a better explanation of why I couldn't hear you properly.
Okay, not the best start, but
It's the ideal start. It's the
Ideal
it's the start I'd hoped for.
but I think everything is good to go, and we are on the
We have
podcast.
two people watching.
Oh,
We have two
I think
people
that's us.
watching, unless it's you and me.
Yeah, that's me and you only. Oh, Aditya
No,
Varma.
I'm not watching.
Aditya Varma sent something. Hello, thank you for celebrating with us. And but I guess that's it. People were just watching me talk for like 3 minutes altogether. But
And I thought you were like on mute and you were chilling, and you were
No.
speaking. It's very possible. It's a very possible situation. But yeah,
but that's it. What are we going to call this? Is this a podcast? You never know. But
who knows?
yeah, we bought a Zoom account, so we might as well make the most use out of it. And welcome everybody. I don't know who's actually on YouTube, but
Don't care. Don't. It's fine. It's fine. If you have 10 people watching at after 10 podcasts, we have made it in life.
but I guess that's it. How are you, Vishnu?
Okay, now just at home chilling. I don't have a slipper, so I don't go out at all. My slippers are not there. I lost it, so I didn't buy a new one because it was like if I don't have a slipper, I won't step out, which is good. So it's like I won't buy a new one until the lockdown's over. So I haven't bought a slipper.
What an emotional start to this podcast.
Exactly.
Live stream.
Exactly.
You never know.
You never know. It's a questionable thing. Let's call it a questionable thing.
But yes, we can start with our actual live stream, and hopefully, more people show up as we progress.
Yeah. People, you can watch it later as well. You can watch it whenever you want. Watch it in the nights. Watch it.
All right, so we'll kick off this episode with our very special, esteemed, dignified guest, who is
Podcaster.
For the dais.
Podcaster. Don't call him a guest. He's a podcaster.
And let's give it up for Sankarshan Joshi, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Sankarshan Joshi of Sankarshan Joshi Trip fame.
This is the most hype I've ever received in my life combined, like 20 years of my life. Combined, this is the most hype I've ever received.
And did you promote?
Yeah, he promoted.
To my diehard fans and followers.
Hey, no, I'm not being ironic because you do have quite a lot of viewers viewing your podcast on like basis.
Quite mean like 50 to 100, yeah.
Which is great. Great. You like you aren't like any of us aren't like some huge like comedians or huge well-known people. For that
yourself.
50, 60, and for 1 hour content, it's a great thing. People are watching 30-second reels. Like you're doing 1 hour, 1.5 hour content, which is great stuff.
Thank you so much. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like that was the contrast initially. I think this is personally for myself. Like even when you guys start doing this podcast, like after like 10 episodes or 9 episodes, there is so much you bullshit while it's live and while it's recording, and all the thoughts that you didn't know exist in your head, like they all come out. And yeah, so it's a crazy thing. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
crazy, it's a very personal experience. I don't think or like even when you watch my videos,
Hmm.
I don't think like viewers are gonna have the experience that I have. Like to me it's a very new revelating, it's a very yeah, see, you start talking words like this which don't even make sense. So yeah.
Revelating.
Yeah. I don't even
Revealing.
know if such a word exists, but yeah.
It's revealing or relieving, or yeah, both. It's relieving as well as
Sure.
revealing.
So that's
It's
the word. It's
yeah,
this.
perks of being a.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can call myself a podcaster yet, but
You
yeah.
are. How many episodes down are you? 10, 12?
13th will be out soon, and 12th was with our beloved Vaishak Dutt.
Okay. You had
So
repeat guest enough. You had repeat guest means over. Joe Rogan repeats every 1,000 episodes. You repeat every 10 means it's enough. It's okay.
yeah, it's like increase after 10, like just bring in one more guest, 11, and then repeat the 11, then get 12, repeat the 12. Yeah, but how have you guys been? So recently I had a talk with Vaishak. So like creatively, where he's been, like I'm honest, like I know where he's been. So you tell me, Vishnu, like how have you been doing with the whole pandemic, the lockdown?
Um, Creatively you ask, right? Creatively you
I mean, in general, like personality, we are no more the same people, right? Like
100%.
yeah. So where are you at right now in life with everything? The comedy.
Creatively, I think, yeah, that the first lockdown 2020, I think even with BBB, we were in such a high before the whole lockdown happened. I,
Mm.
this might sound like, when I'm saying it 1.5 years later, it might sound like, oh, just blame it on the pandemic. But genuinely, I felt, all three of us felt that we were in such a high at that point, because we were doing improv for a long time before that, but professionally we had started, like we were in the right spot. We did sold out shows here. We went to Chennai, went to IIT, we opened for Akash. Everything was like going up,
Mm.
and we almost booked a show for like April 4th of 2020. We almost booked it, we almost made the payment, but then we were like, we held it back. And then the pandemic hit. We were still doing okay, but still, it's not the same thing. Like
Yeah.
uh, like on Feb 28th, we performed in front of 1,200 people, and then 15 days later on Zoom with 20 people watching you. It's a dip, even though creatively we were in a great space. But when that, yeah, you can always say no. Creativity is like, oh, you are doing it for yourself. Don't do it for the audience. You can tell that, but at the end of it, you need some audience to.
Yeah. True.
And now creatively, okay, it's like, I wanted to do this for a very long time. I think
Yeah.
when he started it, I was like, I want to really start a podcast. That's something that I really want to do, because I hate the short form content now. I
Yeah.
I can, even if anyone's I can tell it on YouTube. I will tell it. It's the worst thing that mankind has ever made. Okay, I absolutely hate it, and I hate it when people pander, and I hate it when they get views and likes. I hate your reels for that. And so it's such bullshit, man.
But also on the contrast, like a lot of people have started doing podcasts also. Like even Spotify are investing a lot of money into podcast. Like that's a very weird contrast, right?
Correct. That one small niche of people who are listening to 1 hour, 1.5 hour stuff. making 1 hour, 1.5 stuff, and there's a huge like scale size of audience watching reels and making reels.
Yeah, it's a
I don't know if
hard.
it's the contrast or like if it's just a fad and like eventually even podcasts will die down and never know.
I don't think podcasts are gonna like uh, go low like anytime soon, because it's very hard to get a really good like podcast audience, like really good listener. Because like if you're spending like so much time listening to like this person, like you have to like that person, you have to like the content that they're putting. Like there's so many attributes that you have to like before like you spend so much time listening to them. So yeah, like they've been around from a really long time though, like
Yeah.
from like the radios. And so yeah.
And don't you think podcast is more of like, it's passive listening, right? Podcasts usually are passive listeners.
Yeah.
Actively listen. It's not a 1 hour stand-up special where you're active.
Yeah, true.
It's a passive thing, right? It's running, you're listening to it, but you're not like you're using your phone while listening to it, or even if it's a video podcast like yours or like many other video podcasts, um, you're still like on your phone listen, but it's running. It's passively you're listening to it. It's not
Yeah.
you're not listening to it and taking down notes or like actively participating with the content. So with that, I think it's always going to be there. Like I personally don't listen to music while traveling. Like I don't wear headphones while traveling. Like even if it's a 5 hour journey on a train, like I'll still not listen to music, or I'll either watch a movie or like podcasts are better for me. So people like me might still like, passively listen stuff, and it's always nice.
I think that's when it works the best, because like I listen to podcast majorly while working out, or like when I'm sleeping, like if I'm having a hard time to sleep, like that's when I listen. So now I don't listen to songs at all. Like I listen to songs only when I'm in a groove, or like I want to dance, or like only when I'm in that mood. Or when I'm emo, I want to listen to sad songs. Like that's the only time I go to songs. Mostly it's like you want to spend your time listening to something like quality content, right?
What about you, Vaishak?
About what?
About this podcast, like passive, active, so many voices we did. What's that? What's your voice?
So many
I
hashtags we've
know.
used.
So I guess like I was hugely into podcasts when I figured out podcasts were a thing, which was like when I was in uh, just out of 11th, like just past 11th, and that's like when I like I knew about, like I got into SoundCloud because Daniel State used to upload his time calls there, and like
Thanks.
nicely every day in a 1 hour I used to binge those, laugh my ass off. And then like I saw that like people were doing podcasts and like anyone could upload. And like back like when I was in 10th grade, like 2014, 2015, 2016, like the very fact that like anyone could just create and then upload, and like I mean, like A, it's like so much power, and B, it's like a sense of you becoming famous. Like it's there, right? Like the whole world can see me now. Like I don't know, like now if you ask me like do you want everyone to see you, then like maybe now I'll be like, oh, I don't know, everyone will scrutinize me, maybe I know it. But back then it was just plain old exciting that like you upload, anyone like anyone in the
Influencer.
fucking world could see that. Like it's damn exciting. So like then I found out about podcasts, and then like there was this dude called Lewis House, the School of Greatness. And like yeah, like I used to run a lot back then, so like I used to download his podcast and then listen to it. And like a lot of my like people who were famous used to come on that podcast. It was damn fun. And then like I read an answer on Quora where like one dude told I podcast every day, and like his quality was trash, but like he was doing it every day. And then I thought like maybe I can do it too or whatever. So then like yeah, I planned out my stuff, and like I tried doing it. It didn't work out eventually, but that's the thing about podcasts, I guess, where the art of creating it is as satisfying as like if people listen to it or not. And I
True,
think
true.
having like a conversation, people feel included in that conversation as well. And I think that's the thing. And like
Makes sense.
very very rarely do you think podcasts are like for active listening. I think it's some sort of like an ambient experience itself. Like you're a part of let's say you're in a friend circle of like 5 or 6 people, you're not actively listening to all 5 people, right? It's like they're like talking and then like you use your phone in the middle sometimes, or like you're just a part of it. And I think that's what podcasts give you, and like you can
Yeah.
take whatever you want. And like there are so many podcasts out there. And the thing, I think the key thing to enjoying podcasts also is that to like just listen to it. Like don't, if you're like listening to like an informative podcast, like don't have the pressure on yourself to like, absorb everything and I should learn. Just fucking listen. It's fine.
Correct.
Yeah,
I used to do that. I used to do that with like initially when I started listening to podcasts. I used to do that a lot. Like I used to listen to all these design podcasts, Design Matters, and all those guys. I never had like a particular design podcast that I used to listen to. I just liked a couple of designers like Paula Scher, Michael Barut, and people like that. Michael Barut, probably all-time favorite designer. I used to just type Michael Barut on Spotify. Whatever comes up, I'll just listen. And like initially, first two podcasts, first 2 50-minute podcasts, you're fully into it. You
yeah.
what it is. You're exactly listening to it, like actively listening to it. And then later on, when I started listening to it passively, I was like, what? I'm not. I didn't understand how he made that logo. Like, what is this? This is not how podcast should be listened. Then I understood. Okay, it's a passive thing. It's not something that you take down notes or whatever. Like that makes sense. It's always going to be that ambient. It's like jazz.
Yeah. And music always, I like, yeah, like music for me is like both like that passive.
He's slightly stuck, isn't he, Sankarshan Joshi?
I don't mind having it as
He's stuck
passive
in his
state.
thought.
No.
Oh God.
Please repeat your thought, Mr. Vaishak. That
Is it better? Oh, okay, it's
yes,
better now.
yes.
Okay. So like my internet has to like live stream and like be a part of this. So like Solpa, it's going to be.
Your
Understand.
internet
you're not
is-
watching. You're not watching the live stream. You're not watching the live stream. No.
No, I'm not. But like one of us should, so that we see
Is
I'll do that.
His internet is actively taking part in the live stream. It's like,
Yes.
I also want to contribute in this.
Exactly.
But I think it's okay. The live stream will be okay. But like, yeah, I was
Okay.
saying,
Oh, I'm watching it. Yeah. I'm seeing the
Don't get distracted by yourself, Vishnu. We all know
Yeah.
you're too handsome for life.
yes.
yeah. Music, like for me, is like both an active and a passive experience. So like, I know when I need it to be an active thing. So like Sankarshan said, like when I have a particular emotion which I want to cater to with a particular song, then like yeah, it's active. Otherwise, like I know like what I'm feeling, I'll just play it and let that thing be playing in the background and then
Correct.
just go on with my life. And a change in my life with respect to music was like after I started listening to like albums, whole like intro to outro.
Yes.
So I started
Correct.
doing that after listening to Marshall Mathers LP back when I was in 12th, I think. Till then it was all like
Were you
shuffle.
binge listening songs like from intro to like entire album in one go? Like, is that
Yeah.
what you?
I have a story about that.
Holy shit! This is the first time I'm ever hearing someone
Not
say
binge.
this.
It's not like you don't binge
It's
a movie
listening.
from start to finish.
Okay.
It's
Like, yeah.
it's got to be something. So like no, like till then, like also like all I used to listen was like yeah, I loved A.R. Rahman and like I had like few artists like basically
Faded. Like that.
fucking chain smokers, baby pull me closer.
Pull me closer. In the
Yeah.
backseat of my
Justin
Rover.
Bieber.
Yeah, so like whatever was like on like I've been listening to music for a long time, but like I didn't know that like albums are made in a way to be listened entirely. I didn't know that. So artists like musicians put a lot of effort into like creating an album, from like the album cover to the arrangement to like hip hop albums have like skits in between them. So
Appreciating the art form.
yeah,
Yeah.
they wanted to do something. They want people to listen the entire thing at one go. So that was like revealing that was like my
Revelating.
revelating.
I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking when I said that. Too many words.
Oh, I get to see myself.
No. Sihi in the chat says revelating might not be a word, but it is a mood.
Thank you, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the thing only that when after I listened to Marshall Mathers LP, like, oh yeah, this is how albums are meant to be. So then like I started. Now I don't listen to songs on shuffle at all. Like very rarely. I maybe never almost. Like it's almost like I play an album and like that's why like for me like when a song ends, I automatically know what the next song is because it's like watching to compare this is like to watch a movie. A movie has a story and like you watch it in one order. You don't watch random scenes on YouTube, right? You don't like watch you watch it, but like at least once you should have seen.
You
Yeah.
need context, is what you're saying. Like the
Like,
context adds up, like in the lyrics, like whatever they're saying.
yeah, like there's
Hmm.
I think they put a lot of effort into arranging it the way they want it to. So like there's a reason why track one is track one and track two is track two. And like especially like that's very evident in uh like introspective rappers such as Kendrick Lamar and like with the album Damn, it's like the first song is Blood and the last song is Duckworth on like the regular album. So it's like when you listen to the albums in like a particular manner, which is like song one to end, it tells you a story of like a person who is lost and like it gives you one story and like the same thing he released something next called Damn Collector's Edition where the entire track list is just ulta. So it starts with Duckworth and ends with Blood, and that tells a completely different story altogether. So yeah, I think they put a lot of effort into that, and so like after that, like that's when like I started listening to musicians more actively active. So like that first maybe maybe I don't know. I can start off with an album being a passive experience. So like I just play it and live my life. And then if I like the sound of it and like some lyrics stick with me, then I will revisit it and give it an active listen and then observe how it was done and enjoy. But yeah, that's how music is.
But yeah, what he said, like I agree with that because I was that passive, faded chain smoker listener for a very long time. He out in 12th. Till like second year-ish, I was third sem, fourth sem, beginning-ish, I was like that. And then like Vaishak like introduced me to Kanye West was the first album that I like. Kanye's albums was the first thing that I heard, like full album, like intro to outro. And yeah, I think Kanye West was probably the first. And I listened to it chronological order, like from late registration. What is it? What is next?
First is College Dropout.
College dropout, late registration, graduation, whatever. Like neatly, I used to listen. And pandemic also hit. Then fourth, fifth sem was very busy with all BBB and all that stuff. Very busy. Nothing. Music only. I rarely listen to. But since lockdown started, March 2020, I started. I was like, I listened to artists. Like how I used to watch movies like that. Like if I take Scorsese, I'll watch chronologically from first movie to end movie. Like all
Artist specific.
artist specific, I'll watch like that. If I take Brad Pitt, I'll watch almost all his movies. I was like, I'll do the same. I'll use the same approach towards music also, and I really liked it. Like Kanye's was really good, and Vox has this one video on YouTube. If you're watching this, stop, go watch that video, come back. If anyone is watching, Vox has a video about how Kanye uses human voices to on his tracks. It's called, I think, Kanye Deconstructs the Human Voice or something like that by Vox. Go watch that video. It's a 8-minute, 26-second video. Go.
26 seconds.
That you'll first off, even if you don't like Kanye as a person, you'll like his music, like because just the way they've explained it, and then it makes sense also. Like the way they've explained it, and then you listen to that same song, it makes sense. It's like, yeah, correct. What they told is correct. It's not like Kanye paid Vox to do that video. So that video helped me, and then I listened to full almost last, I think, Life of Pablo and all I haven't heard yet. But I listened to all his like that till I think till Watch the Throne. I listened to everything, and then and I really liked it. And I've always liked John Mayer from from like 12th, I've really liked John Mayer, but still it was shuffle. John Mayer shuffle. It was like you just listen to Gravity, slow dancing stuff. And I started with John Mayer, same chronological order, full album. And it's so nice to listen to music like that, actively listen to music, because as he said, there is that storytelling aspect to it, more than just it being 20 music. Storytelling aspect of it, which is really nice. And yeah, as that's the thing, no? Like when you grow as a creative person,
Yeah.
whatever
You are
creative field you are in.
specifically listening to appreciate that. Like you're putting in efforts to like actively listen to that, right? Like that's the whole
Huh.
point. Like
Yeah,
to keenly think about like what is going on in their mind, probably.
yeah, more than just the fact of appreciating or trying to actively listen to it. It's just that any creative field you are in, you're going to grow. Mostly you're going to grow where you understand more and like have a better understanding of it. Even if you are bad at it, even if you have a good understanding of it, it's still, you can still appreciate it, right? So that's how it's like, even if someone who hasn't even done stand-up comedy before, but they've watched every stand-up special there is and knows everything about comedy, they can still appreciate it properly. It doesn't mean they have to be, even if they're not at all funny, fuck be them part is doing comedy. They're not at all funny, like there's a most serious person, but they've watched everything. I'll still have respect towards them because they have more knowledge than probably anyone who's watched or like done stand-up comedy, right? So it's like that. When you grow, you have a better understanding of stuff, is what I feel. And I
Yeah.
listening to music actively and like as albums. And as he said, now I can't listen to things on full unless it's just for like Dingchak.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
the thing about you wanting you to Sankarshan, you told like yeah, you want to appreciate it. Like Kendrick Lamar has an interview with Rick Rubin, and on that like okay, I have internet. So then Kendrick Lamar like on that he says like uh, he told like he made his album and he listened to it, and like if he could understand it at one go, he told no, it's too simple, I need to make it more complex. So like I am challenging myself to make this album, so my listeners should also challenge themselves when they listen to it. It shouldn't be like just something that you just listen to and forget. I want them to challenge themselves, and and he tells that. And like one thing which musicians do to like also like just literally make fun of us the listeners is songs like Pumped Up Kicks, where like it's like a jazz, like a fun song. Yeah, but it's about a school shooter, right?
Yeah.
And like yeah, so like they're literally telling fu to like it's a radio friendly hit song, but like the lyrics are something totally different. So we need you to pay attention to what we're doing. So Frank Ocean has a song called Swim Good, and like that's also like, oh yeah, such a good song to listen to, but it's about him committing suicide. So like so it's
Yeah. When was the Pumped Up Kicks? It was some 80s, no? 1986, 88, something like that, right?
Pumped Up Kicks is a very recent song.
Is it? Is it a 21st century song?
No, it's by Foster and the People, I think. It's a very recent song.
No, I thought it was like 80s or whatever. And like
Yeah.
I had an image of like, people in like US prom, everybody's dancing to Pumped Up Kicks, but some guy in the corner is listening to the lyrics and is going, oh guys, come on.
It's a very multi-layered thing, right? Like music, when you put focus on the lyrics, like that tells you a different story. Like when you listen to just the beats, it gives you a different feel and vibe. When you listen to like beats with the lyrics, it gives you a different thing. It's like there are like so many layers, and when you tune into one like layer, you can like understand that layer. Like let's say how you guys told uh, the lyrics actually said something else, but the beats were so groovy that people enjoyed the song. But the lyrics, when you listen to it actively, I am sure like nobody would enjoy the lyrics. Like nobody would just like groove and then dance for the lyrics, right? Like they're not very happy. So yeah, like makes sense whatever Vaishak said.
Correct. But that like I never knew like song can have people talking in it. Usually when there's talking in it, it's like, bro, they're talking. It's not song. Like, it's the dialogue. Give me toy, quick. It's like that. But then I think graduation has the good morning. Before good morning, there's an intro, no? Uh, there's a small intro of, oh, Mr. Kanye, whatever, wake up, whatever. And
Yeah.
for that, I was like, oh, he's trying to tell something. More than just song, he's trying to tell something. And I was mind blown by it. And then again, in even My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it opens with Nicki Minaj saying something. Again, I was mind blown. I was like, how can you like talk, use that? And then there's, at the end of Devil in a New Dress, there's the Chris Rock sketch.
No, that's not. That's Blame Game. And like
Blame Game. There's a Chris Rock sketch. So nice. I was so mind blown by this. And then after that, like, I started listening to music like properly. Like,
those songs, like what you hear are singles, which are like artists know that, like they know that this sounding good, this will go viral in radios, people will like it, and those are songs what we usually hear. So like if I say Eminem, like Not Afraid, right? Because that's a radio hit and like everybody knows about that song. But those are singles. The songs which are not singles are like what Vishnu just mentioned right now. They're like Blame Game and Dark Fantasy. All those, like, they're songs they have a purpose in that album, and that's why they're there. So like that Chris Rock skit at the end of Blame Game is like, it tells a story. Like, if you look at My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it's about Kanye getting cheated, and then the song after Blame Game is called Lost in the World, which is him finding love again. So it's like him finding someone to love after being cheated on. So it's a story experience in itself.
When you know that, like, you look at the song differently, right? Like you might, it's like he's been cheated and he's looking for love. With that with that context, you listen to that song differently. Like know what he's trying to say.
Yeah, like Kanye is like fucking king in that. Like in his very first album, College Dropout, the last song is called Last Call. So like it starts with like a usual song. It's a 12-minute song. And like for the usual first 5-6 minutes, it's a song. And then he just starts talking. Like the music is playing, is like, I was in Rockefeller Records, and then like I played Jesus Walk for them in the club, but they didn't like it. And then but then I told this.
And it's the auto-tuned speaking, no?
No.
He talks normally.
Normally talking. Like he literally tells his entire life story to the point of him making, and like the struggles and like how he played Jesus Walks and nobody liked it, but then now it's like the biggest song ever. Yeah, so he's just talking for 5-6 minutes, and then the album ends. Like it's the perfect album closer. And the same thing Lil Wayne did on the Carter 3, and in the last one, like his last song, he talks about how police incarcerations and how like black people are getting arrested for like about that police brutality and like black injustice. Like he just like there's a song plays and but like Lil Wayne has that, Lil Wayne like but I like you but I don't respect you, like he's literally talking to the district attorney, like I respect you but I don't like you. So like it's fun shit to listen to.
Can you believe we spoke about, like you guys spoke about like music for so long? Like we are not even like singers, or we don't even write songs, but like with this perspective, we spoke about music for like I don't know for how long, but we spoke about music. I think that's what I love about like you guys. So when you guys told that you guys are gonna start the podcast, I was super excited because you guys come together as BisiBeleBois. Like you, Avinash, you three come together as BisiBeleBois, but you guys have very distinctive individual personality. It's like so Vaishak, right? Like when he is being a comedian, like when he's being a comic, it's a very entirely different thing. But when like there is an intellectual Vaishak, like he has an entirely different perspective on.
Are you telling his comedy is not intellectual?
I mean,
you've announced it.
I mean, like, I didn't say that. Like, you,
It's fine.
yes.
It's
So, like,
fine.
the point I was trying to make is, so when you go listen to our podcast, Vaishak has a very like interesting point of view, like different perspective on a mythological story. He also writes in direct plays, right? Like, that's a really hard thing. Like, I've seen up close, and then Vaishak does a really good job at it. And like Vishnu, like you being a comic, like I've seen you like on the first day of college, like I've seen you perform a set, and then like when I have conversation with you, Vishnu has a very uh or like how do I put it?
Go for it. Go for it. Any word it is.
Vishnu
Revelating.
can analyze shit, like he has a very critique mentality. Like when he looks at something, like he can tell if this is shit or if this is good, or if it is good, like why it's good, or if it's shit, if why it is shit. Like even coming from a design background, he's a very critical thinker. Like he can tell, like he can analyze shit. And like I haven't spent like much time with. Sorry.
What do you mean? Critical thinker or critic? What?
Uh, I think it's both, because like when Vishnu says like something is shit, right? Like that's actually helpful. Like initially when I started podcast, like Vishnu gave me a really good feedback, and like I like worked on it. So it's like you guys have so like individualistic and then really good personality traits. So when you guys come together, I thought like this would be wonderful. Like you guys starting something like this, like conversational uh medium putting content.
It,
So
it's the ideal place to go on tangents and like it's you really don't care even if like 5 people listen to it. I know I shouldn't be saying this in the first episode, but like even if 5 6 people are listening to it, I saw it now. 6 people were listening to it. I really like those 6 people.
so you
Whoever is
don't like
listening to
the
it.
rest? Is that what you're saying? Like
No,
whoever
I
isn't
don't
listening.
see. Don't put words in my mouth, Sankarshan Joshi. Don't do that. but yeah, whoever is watching, if you have any questions, go ahead, type it out in the chat. Just or else just tell hello.
Hey, I have questions for you guys. Okay.
Oh,
So
nice man.
yeah.
Go
But
for
like
it.
overall, like it was fun so far. I think it's a big learning experience for us. First of all,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We have a dislike also, so it's great. No, I want that. No, I'm not kidding, da. I'm not kidding. I really want haters for BisiBeleBois. I really want people are too nice to us. I don't want that. Like, who are being nice, be nice. But like, please, some haters, please. What do you want us to do to hate us?
but
Yeah.
yeah, like end of the day, it's like a huge learning experience for us doing this. And what do you know? Like I think the phase that we guys, the three of us, are in right now is like there's whenever you approach anything creatively, there's like two things. One's like the joy of creating, and there's the pain of executing. And it's a fine line between those two. It's like a, or what do you call that? Takadi. It's like a balance. So there's the joy of creating on one side and the pain of executing on the other. A lot of times the joy of creating overweighs the pain of executing. So and those days you don't worry about anything. Like you just go ahead. Like when we guys started out, like we did design, we did ticketing, we did marketing, we did every damn thing. We did our
Boom,
main,
that's all.
You guys were
Everything else
grinding.
secondary. Doing was first.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Hustle.
Secondary. Doing.
anything we did that. And like with the very second show, like yeah, the pain of execution got a little more noticeable. First show, like nothing, like we were unstoppable. That's how, like
You guys were extremely motivated. Like you are
motivated.
adrenaline
That
running through.
motivation. See, motivation also. Before we go into motivation, see, he told she put that dislike and she by mistake. It's okay.
Shit, see, you didn't
Removed
have
it
to say
also.
that.
She removed the. She removed the dislike also. That
Vishnu was so happy that someone disliked.
yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for ruining it. See,
Exactly. Someone please go dislike again. Suraj Nagaraju says thanks for liking us. Yes, man. Thank you. Atul says hello. Atul has a Domex DP da. No, Clorox DP. Clorox DP. Good. That's how you must be. He's promoting. He's a sellout. He's promoting Clorox.
Yeah. Now let's not worry about likes and dislikes. Only about our art. But like
talking more about like what Vaishak just said, right? Like I wanted to ask you guys about like your experience with BisiBeleBois from the inception, because like
Inception.
when I like when I talked with Vaishak like offline, like not on the podcast, so or like him, he has a personality traits, right? Like he can or like he wants things in place, and then Vishnu is like fuck it. So it's like, how did
Oh
you
yeah.
guys? I mean, like what I meant was, it's like you guys have like really strong personality traits, right? Like which balances out. So how did you guys like come together, or like how did BisiBeleBois happen?
BisiBeleBois happened. That's all. How did it happen? How we kept it going also, we don't know. It's just happening.
Yeah, it's genuinely it's a very cliche thing to say. Oh, I don't know how it happened. It was a natural process. It's a very cliche thing to say, but genuinely, it was like that. We were 19 when we started it out, right? Even though I'm academically a senior to Vaishak and Avinash, I'm younger than Avinash by Vaishak by age. So like we were all 19. We didn't know our investment was 1,500. We thought that's it. 1,500 is the investment. But we never like thought about like how many times we ordered Swiggy when we practiced, like how much travel we spent money on travel, how many times we met for morning breakfast, went to Taza Tindi, spent like around 4-digit bills and stuff like that. We never even
No, and
like,
plus, like, we've not taken 1 rupee from BBB yet. So like when we
yeah,
did Chennai show, everything, the tickets were our personal money, right?
yeah,
So we are like
taken
at a
from parents'
huge
money. That
loss,
is basically.
massive loss. If you can super chat us, please give us money. But
Yeah.
but like
Super
I'm just
chat.
saying
We'll take dollars, pounds, euros. And
anything. And like yeah, that's the thing. Like the whole thing of I think it just happened, and like later we just found what we were good at. So like where we fit, like what our roles within this ecosystem were, like we discovered it later. Like when we started off, it was like yeah, Vishnu knew Photoshop, so like he'll make the posters. But like everyone, like anyone can post on Instagram, anyone will come up with caption. We was just like, okay, let's do it. But later, like as the things started happening, like we refined our workflow and like figured out what each of us were good at and what roles do we fit into. Like apart, improv is obviously there. Like I think after running this thing, we figured out like improv is like the last thing, like performing comes last actually. And because
that no, that's the conversation. I don't. Vaishak and I, all three of us have had this conversation. Sankarshan, that thing where you said improv comes last shouldn't be the thing. Shouldn't
yeah,
be something that we take pride in. It should not be like Vaishak says. It's not the best thing to do to put improv last, because that's our forte. We went like when we say improv last,
Mhm.
we know we've done it so many times that we can do it. But it should like all this is not great. It's still learning. It's great. Like the amount of the amount of like business skills that we have like acquired, like the negotiation stuff, like talking with people, like just managing people on.
You guys had to do everything, right? Like you guys didn't
No,
have anyone else to do the job
well,
for
it
no,
you.
is like
no,
that
that's
not
too
basic.
far to go. But like we had like a lot of support from people, like
Yeah, yeah.
do stuff for free. That's something that we can never forget. But like just all this ticketing, filling out forms on Book My Show, or like sending stuff like mail, all this, like it's fun. Like it's fun. It's definitely learning experience. You understand. You can multitask shit and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's not creative stuff, right? It's
It's
slightly
the management.
clerical.
It's the
It's slightly
management
clerical.
stuff.
It's slightly clerical, and sometimes this clerical stuff is so much that you're like, you know what? We know how
Mm.
to. Let's just stick to this. That one push is not like is not possible if this clerical work. If clerical work is not there, and you're just focusing on improv, and like doing show, like you have no worries. Your only worry is Saturday, Sunday, 4 shows in 2 days. You just have to visit the venue. That's it. Half an hour before for mic check. If that was the thing, if imagine that was the case in November or December of 2019, I'm pretty sure we would have made it by now. Right? I'm very happy where we are.
Or it could have the exact opposite could have happened because things were so easy we wouldn't respect
Yeah,
or like
correct. That's also a perspective. But still that's what we enjoy doing. We enjoy doing this clerical work is okay. It's not something that we enjoy doing. It's like we'll do because we don't.
You have to do. It's not like you want to do.
Yeah. But this improv thing, we fucking love to do improv. Right? So we're like, we'll do anything. We went to IIT Madras, like out of nowhere, like one day before we were like, let's go to IIT Madras for improv show. Like, and it was a out. Like if we went there, performed for 4 minutes and we didn't even get placed, imagine how bad that would have been.
Yeah.
Right? We put one day before, we're like, okay, we booked bus tickets, we went. And like, I called up a friend there, we were like, just for a couple of hours, just to freshen up. And we use your house, everything set. We went to IIT Madras, we chilled in their house, like a friend there. So we chilled in his hostel room. Like we just did it because it was improv. Like we want to perform at IIT Madras and we want to perform for 4 minutes. It's not even like we were called on to a show where they said, guys, we don't have travel budget. You have to come travel. It's not even that. For 4 minutes, we did so much. And it turned out to be one of the greatest improv experiences I had, other than one of the greatest. I don't want to name anything, but
with that, like, obviously friendship, fun, all of that.
Yeah, but like just to do that 4 minutes improv, not 4 minutes, I guess. To do that, we took so much effort to go there. And if that was the only thing that we had to do, it would have been so much more fun.
Yeah. I mean, like it gets balanced out, right? Like even with podcasts also, I just want to sit, talk, and then like just talk. I don't want to think about camera. I don't want to sit and edit. Like it becomes so jarring. Initially, when I started, I used to spend like 3, 4, 5 hours like editing, and then 3, 4, 5 hours like export, and then like I would like sit whole night, and then have to listen my own voice over and over. I'm just shitting myself. It's like, what
that's
the
so
fuck?
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
like,
bad, man.
let's say I listen myself do some grammatical error. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like I have to hear that over. But I think like that keeps me humbled, right? Like that's like it keeps me balanced. So now I know it's not just recording. I have to edit. I have to upload. So there comes a fallback. So uh, like I post episodes on an average of like weekly one episode. So now if it is all about recording, right, then I'll start uploading a lot more, lot often. Maybe then it'll be like too much content for people to listen also. It's like every 2 days if I keep posting. So I think like overall, like the balance has worked out for me. So like, do you guys think the balance worked out for you too? Like the
I'll tell you,
improv.
Vaishak, before you answer that question, we'll acknowledge chat. Suraj Nagraju has a question. Says, I've got a question for you guys. How long do you guys will keep doing improv?
Okay, I'll come to that exactly like in full circle. Like so,
Go for it.
and the analogy which like I want to come up with is like driving a car. Okay, so let's say you love driving, like you really love driving. Obviously, the best experience for you would be to like have a Mercedes Benz waiting out for you. You just sit in and then you start driving and you enjoy the long drive, right? But the thing with that's not how things are. Like for us, like when we started off, we didn't have a car, so we had to like get an engine. We then had to get wheels, then had to get parts, all that, and then that's what the other parts is, which is like ticketing, marketing, managing social media, doing all these are like other cogs of this entire system, and only when they're all in tandem, like it'll make sense. So that's when like once you start knowing that, then like finally then driving, when you have the steering wheels in your hand, that's when like it's improv time. Until then it's not. So till then, like that's what I meant when I said improv last. What I meant is like for you to have the steering wheels in your hand, you need to do all of this before. Like you need to know that all your other systems are in place. So like Vishnu said, like if a steering wheel was given to us from day one, maybe we would have reached the farther destination rather than wasting time on building a car or whatever. But like another perspective is that like let's say we had an
Mercedes
accident.
Benz.
Yeah, no, let's say we had like an accident when we were driving, and like if we didn't know anything about how to build a car, then like we would have been totally lost.
Oh yeah.
right?
Correct.
Such
So
a great analogy.
Beautiful
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So
Makes sense. Pros and cons.
yeah, so like yeah, like even after building our car, like we face a lot of accidents and like street bumps and like uncles coming scolding. It
You're
happens
building
like
the foundation for a safer
Yes.
ride.
No, when see to continue his car analogy, when you are given the steering wheel, let's not go till accident also. Puncture happens. You won't know how to fix it. Even
You
if
get stuck
you
there.
you'll be like, should we buy a new car? Like that would be our like first thought, because we wouldn't know how to fix that thing.
Yeah.
or am I not good at driving itself? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Bigger questions like that will come. Whereas if we have only made one Maruti 800 Maruti Zen and we're driving it and like bumper falls off while driving, we'll know like we'll know how to just put Fevikwik and put it back. Like we'll know how to do it and we'll do it immediately. So
Right?
there's pros and cons for everything.
And like I guess yeah, that's like yeah, and like initially like for us, the joy of driving was so much that we didn't care building like building the car was like yeah, I'm tired or like my arms are hurting. There's a spanner in my ass. No one cares. We just want to drive and like we'll enjoy that shit, right?
Yeah.
But then later and later, like slowly, like when you're driving and the scenery outside is not so much beautiful, or like you keep getting into like small humps every now and there, then like the joy of driving is not as joyous of like it's not compensating the pain of like building the car. And like this is what I told all the way in the beginning, which is there's like the joy of creating
But
versus
don't you think that adds up to the overall thing? Like when you hustle, right? Like it gives you a sense of satisfaction. Like fuck, how many people
it does
like
it does
sees
I'm
it?
just telling like momentarily that's how you feel. And I guess
Mm.
like if whatever position we're in, and to advise someone who's just starting out now, it's like just stick with it is all that we can say.
Yeah, just
And
hang in
like
there.
yeah, hang in there. And like you need like whatever resources you need, it's there. Like we did all our shows, like even our most recent show we've been doing on Google Forms, and like individually mailing each person. Like we've done it. So I'm just saying like yeah, that's what. So like since we've done this, we know how the foundations are, like what you just said. And to answer Suraj's question, like how long do you think we'll do this? As long as the driving is fun, we will
Yeah.
keep. That's all.
I think improv is always like I started out with stand up, and like stand up was always fun. I really like doing stand up, but stand up you have to write and all, and I'm lazy to do shit like that. And I used to enjoy writing stand up,
Mm.
and but then I was like discovered improv, and improv was more fun. Like I could
Do
do.
you still like stand up? Like do you still like going back to stand up now?
Yeah, I would do it like if but the thing is like improv, I love doing improv, that even if you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the night, be like, hey, there's a short Vyoma, I'll come do. It's like
Will
that.
you ever like stop liking improv? Like that's the point. Because see, you were doing stand up and you liked it. Like at one point, like you didn't
See, stand up, I'll still do stand up. I'll do bad stand up. Like I know it's bad stand up because I don't like writing anymore. Like that process, I've like before also I didn't like writing a lot. I used to take so much time to like write. I used to go just do, like I like being on stage alone and talking. That part of stand up I still like. But that writing bit, which makes it nicer for you as a performer as well, like when you've written stuff, I know even if it bombs, like when I've written stuff, I have one good set. Okay, I have 8 good minutes, that's it, of stand up till date. Like I started out in 2016, till date I have 8 minutes of good material. And that 8 minutes, first time I wrote, I bombed. But I was happy that I'd written this 8 minutes. Like I was so happy with my
happy. Yeah.
worked. I had that 8 minutes killed at one point. Now it doesn't kill. I don't mind. I don't care. But through the lockdown, I did a lot of open mics. I did around 20 to 25 open mics. I did even like small shows also I did with stand up, but I was not writing stuff. I was just doing just like improv I was doing, since I had so much like improv I had, and like I knew how to like tease people on call, like, and it was Zoom. So there's so much more, like I could like do crowd work and all that. I was a bit more confident with it. But that stand-up, I still believe is written. Like till date, my most favorite stand-up comedian is Jerry Seinfeld. Like
Hmm.
I've watched way too many comedians, but till date, like Jerry Seinfeld is probably the greatest stand-up comedian who I've
Who's your favorite stand-up
in
comic,
my
Vaishak?
personally.
I don't watch stand-up comedy that much, to be honest. It's like I watch it very less, and I don't know, like as a person, I don't consume that much funny material as such. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, like I don't watch funny stuff that much.
I
But
know
Do
this.
you enjoy anyone's set? Or like
oh
it
no,
might be an improv comic also, like
my,
anyone.
my
Like do you
my favorite stand-up special is Homecoming King by Hassan Minhaj, and that's because it's not just comedy. There's like a very emotional story,
Storytelling and
and like
it's almost theater.
yeah,
Like
it's theater. Like oh, it's a very high effort thing, and like oh, it's emotional and it's really good, and I think that's why I like it. I like when I don't know, like there's this video called Nerd Writer. There's a video essays called Nerd Writer one on YouTube, and he
YouTube
has a
channel, yeah.
video about Rowan Atkinson, right? And in
The
Rowan,
master of physical comedy.
yeah, and
That
Mr.
video.
Bean like that, right? So in that, like he says that Mr. Bean is like uh, he's like weird, he's quirky, but like people still laugh to it. And when they ask Rowan Atkinson why, Rowan Atkinson says like beyond all of this, there's like honesty the behind Mr. Bean. There's honesty, and like it's the truth basically. That's what they're laughing at. So I think that's what like I enjoy about storytelling and like comedy in general. Like when it's truthful and it's funny, and like I really enjoyed Kanan Gill's first one, which is Keep It Real, Alva.
Oh
Keep
yeah,
it
yeah.
real.
Even I
Keep it
like
real.
that.
Yeah, so like the way like it's really good, and
He's very
when like
casual with it. And yeah.
yeah, and I think like after listening to him on his podcast and like seeing him on Kenny Sebastian's podcast as well, like you see the mind behind it, and like
Hmm.
it made me respect him even more, right? And like I think, to be honest, in that is like what I enjoy about if I watch stand Bo Burnham, Make Happy, right? Shit like that, right? So
Special is coming out very soon.
yeah, so
Netflix.
He's
I
the
don't
sponsor
have
of this episode.
yeah,
Bo
I don't have
Burnham, if you're watching,
yeah, and I don't want to
Paytm.
restrict myself to I only like these type of comedians, or like I enjoy this type of comedy. So like I
I
love
don't
Dave.
think you don't choose to like someone's, right? Like you just tune into their way of like their way of doing that art form.
Exactly, but like once you say he's my I feel like once I declare someone as my favorite stand-up comedian, like let's say
Okay.
I declare Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr stuff, so like if I say
great
is my
stuff.
favorite stand-up comedian, I think like that puts me into a headspace where I want something edgy, I want something that is controversial. I'll only like comedy which is like that. Whereas like if I
Borderline
watch
offensive.
yeah, like if I, and then
Wilbur is offensive borderline. He's not.
yeah, like yeah. So then like that'll put me into that sort of headspace. But then like when I watch like soft, touchy, cute comedy, like I want like I like that sort of shit too.
Mhm.
So if I'm in a headspace where I think that Bill Burr, then like automatically I feel like, hey, what is this soft shit? Like give me hardcore, give me feminist jokes, right? I don't want that. So
It's like relatives.
yeah,
Like
I
when
guess
you dance.
whatever makes me laugh at that moment makes me laugh. Whatever I enjoy then. That's all.
Do you have a favorite comedian, Sankarshan?
I like Kevin Hart. Like I like him. I like Andrew Schultz though. Like his crowd work is insane.
Edgy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
If
insane.
Wilbur is here, Andrew Schultz is here. Like that's the amount of edge.
I think like Andrew Schultz is in a place where he can reach to the teenage community, like that age group, and he's also respected by the like good comedians like Joe Rogan or Bill Burr, like aged comedians. They also respect. He's like a bridge between the age group.
Dave Chappelle doesn't
Like
particularly
like
Like
respect.
Andrew Schultz.
So like
See,
on Joe Rogan's podcast, I guess. So like Dave Chappelle was like, yeah, he does crowd work, but it's not comedy or something like that.
no
He
no
made
no.
a
no,
He didn't have a problem with Andrew Schultz, but the way how he performed, like a lot of people are performing like that, right? Like they're doing a lot of specifically to how Hassan Minaj did the patriotic act. Like it's like a one-man show.
Beautiful.
Like
It is
Andrew
beautiful.
Schultz also has a similar thing where he does on Netflix. Like it's just
Saving
like
America.
yeah. So
That's
Dave
not like
Chappelle,
Patriot Act, no?
kind of similar, right? Like they fall in the same genre, like a one-man act kind of thing. So Dave Chappelle had he didn't like that way of doing comedy. Like just like pa punchline, like ta, like it's like punch with illustrations, like with images here and there.
And also, obviously, like Dave Chappelle, like old school, you need 1 hour specials kind of guy.
I
Right?
like
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, but I don't specifically enjoy his comedy. Like I like him as a person. Like there is so much context to like whatever happened in his life that like now I'm like, oh, this is Dave Chappelle, and people say that he's a goat, like he's
Yeah.
greatest.
Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is not a belly laugh comedian. He's a, you can watch him. You can like, he's a smile. He like, you're just smiling. You're just laughing a little bit. He's not a belly laugh comedian.
Yeah.
Whereas he's a belly laugh comedian. Like
Kevin Hart, right?
proper performer.
Yeah. Have you seen that Kevin Hart's? I don't know what's uh, the special called. Like he was doing it in a really big like stadium arena.
What? Yeah, almost everything.
Yeah, but I remember one specifically. I think that was his first ever live like a stadium
I'm a
performance.
little grown ass man. Or something.
Let me clear things
Let
up.
me
or some-
explain.
Oh
Let me
yeah.
explain.
Let me explain. While I was watching it, I was genuinely laughing.
Yeah.
I never laugh.
It's the I know this special. It's the black ladies orangutan. Really, that bit.
Yeah, but like the entire thing, right? So when I see him, his transition from one set to another is so smooth. It's like so like halfway through, like half an hour, 45 minutes through the special, I'm like, how the fuck am I here? Like he's talking about something, like he started off talking about something else, but now he's here talking about something else. But like I saw Pete Davidson special, his is like very like he does his bit, break, and then like next bit, break. It's like the transition isn't as smooth as Kevin Hart's.
Hmm.
So
I mean, not proper story comedian performer. He's more than a comedian. He sells out Madison Square Garden. You have to
yeah.
selling out Madison
Hey,
Square.
and also like before I forget this point. So initially when I asked you, Vishnu, that do you still like doing stand-up or will you like doing improv? Is because even though you're passionate about something, when you overdo what you like you'll stop liking it. Like you need to take break from certain things. Like now, even when I do podcasts, like if I do a lot of it, like I'll when you overdo something you like you'll stop liking it. So you need to find like a balance between like you need to take a break, like again come back, like you know what I mean. Like did that
Huh.
ever happen to you?
Let me answer this question with a question again.
Okay.
Do you think like, since you're saying you're doing podcast regularly, you're doing weekly podcasts, you're doing you're doing 4 shows every weekend, even if you like it, do you not like the fact, since we're all three of us are creative people, uh, are in people in the creative field, uh, is the fact that the routine is what you don't like,
uh
routine of is what you don't like, or you just don't like doing it? Because for me, I'll do improv every Saturday. Imagine July, everything, COVID is gone, zero COVID. Like world doesn't have COVID anymore. You are back in 2019. If July, four weekends are there, BisiBeleBois, they book us for 4 into 4, 16 shows. I'll do it. I'll do it happily. I'll do it. Even if COVID hasn't happened and they booked 16 shows in 1 month, I'll happily do it. But 10th show, I'll be like, shit, routine this is. I won't like that routine. I'll hate traveling. I'll hate going there, spot. I'll hate all that stuff. But once I step on stage, I'll be like, yes, this is probably the greatest thing I'm doing. I don't like that routine, but what I'm doing, I'll never like stop liking. At least improv till in the near future, at least I don't like. I don't see myself not liking
it. To answer your question,
but I'll hate it. I'll hate the routine for sure. I'll hate the routine.
it's
I
the
love doing design. I didn't enjoy coming to college a lot.
okay. To answer your question, right? For me, I have like I am still like in between. Like the more I do, like the more podcasts that I put out, the better I get, like with every episode. So I wanna like keep progressing, but like weekly once I put out. But when I'm recording, like I don't record it like weekly once. Like some days I can record like 2-3 days like in a row, but then like I take a break. But I think like weekly ones is a right amount of break for me. Like maybe for me every day is too much. Like if I keep doing every day, like that is too much. So yeah, like I have figured out like the right amount of break that I have to take to keep doing, because either I keep talking the same shit. Like there needs to be something that I need to learn, right? Like when I have conversations, like I spoke with a sports psychologist, I spoke with a dance and movement
No?
therapist. Like it's like different people. Like there's so much different perspective that I gain. So now I have something new to talk. So if
Mm.
I keep doing the same thing, then I'll not have anything more to talk. Either I should learn, like either I need to read some book to like get a new perspective, or like I need to have a conversation. Some form of information I need to have that I learn, so that will be reflected on the podcast. Like to me, that is the metric that
Correct.
I.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like all creative, I don't want to like dismiss it as subjective, but it is again definitely
It's very subjective.
like any creative field. It sounds very dismissing, but it is the fact of it being subjective. Before we continue, Suraj, nice
It's like
man.
oh,
Can you please go dislike that, Suraj? Can you please dislike this? I know you're watching this, but please one dislike I want. Uh,
Yeah, we have a dislike, no?
oh, good. Suraj says I would recommend you guys to watch Bo Burnham and Daniel Sloss's special on Netflix. Yes, Suraj, we.
Daniel
I
Sloss, I've seen few of his sets, but like the intro portion is always same. Like whichever sets that I've seen him like on YouTube, the intro has always been the same. Like first few minutes.
yeah.
So yeah, like that didn't
Yeah,
excite me.
I've watched Daniel Sloss live. The 3 episodes one I've watched it. It's good. It's edgy. 18-year-old Vishnu really liked it because edgy stuff. Now I don't think I'll enjoy it because I don't know. Bo Burnham, yes, huge fan of Bo Burnham. Waiting for this.
I don't even know who that.
You have to watch Bo Burnham, Sankarshan. That's your assignment for today. You don't stop doing interaction design. Go watch Bo Burnham. Watch this special. Vaishak also a huge fan of Bo Burnham. Since you are a huge comedy fan, I recommend watching James Acaster Repartee. 4 episodes, 50 minutes each. Go watch that.
I will. I appreciate comedy a lot. Like I feel
Yes.
like comedy is an important thing for humanity, like in general. Like I think in some or the other way, like humor has always been a part of like throughout human history, like some form of uh comedic art form, like either like circus or like some form, it has always been there. So without that, I think like people would go crazy. Like what do you guys think? Like you both on like comedy being a part of, or like how important do you think that is, or how it affects our human dynamics?
I will, but before I answer that, like I had a couple of thoughts. My internet was trash, so I
Wait,
didn't
wait.
watch.
One more question also, Yadda. Papa will acknowledge questions. People are asking and all. We have to acknowledge. We'll come back to this. Sankarshan, remember that.
Vaishak, I'd love to hear whatever is in your
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Like
Your question
please.
you can ask. Wait, we'll acknowledge this question. Was who's same Suraj? Nice. My Vishnu recommendations to Suraj.
Suraj, please go subscribe to my channel.
Yes, subscribe to Sankarshan Joshi trip. My
I want to have a
recommendation.
special chat with him. I'm like, this is the like he's been active on this chat.
Yeah, yeah. My recommendations, since you are a huge comedy fan and you have watched Bo Burnham, Daniel Sloss naming like a Bo Burnham naming and all this, very few people watch. I'll tell James Acaster Repartee and Seth Meyers Lobby Baby, two of my recent favorite comedy specials. Go watch that. Then he asks, was whose line is it anyway your first gateway to improv? If yes, who's the Ryan, Colin, and Wayne in your group?
It wasn't our first.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Maybe it was little bit. It was, and three of us in
Yeah.
Colin, Wayne, and all we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Satan,
very.
whose line is it anyway was half.
I mean, like, yeah, I've seen that show, but it's not the type of improv we do anyway. So
Huh.
And that being said, like it's a lot of learning from that show for sure. But I think for anyone who's in is it anyway is like it's like revolutionary when you see it.
Yeah.
Is it revelation?
It's revelating. It's
Whatever.
revelating, guys.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
Actually,
coin
you
this
have to
term.
change. Yeah,
Can
you
we
have to
just
change.
coin this term? Can we
Yeah,
add
yeah.
our own meaning right now?
No. You have to change the video title, Davashak. So, new word in Oxford Dictionary. Question mark? Question mark? Revelating.
yeah. So like earlier, like when you guys were talking, like a couple of things. I didn't speak out because my internet was trash and I was recharging my internet. But one thing was Vishnu said uh, Dave Chappelle is not a belly
Belly
hold
laugh.
laugh,
Belly
belly
laugh.
laugh, belly laugh kind of comedian, but like he's more like smile and just listen. I
Yeah, haha kind of guy.
Yeah, no,
Not,
just be mesmerized when he's
yeah, you're
talking.
like, Anna, what Anna? Like that
I
it
can
is.
sit you talk for ages, just like keep talking, right? But Dave Chappelle in his earlier days was a belly laugh comedian. So
Dave
when
Chappelle show. The sketch.
yeah,
Yeah.
sketches and like his original stand up on HBO and stuff, like they're proper like written sets with like proper punchlines. It was still like black specific comedy and stuff, but still he had like it was well written and like he was getting the laughs and like it was proper stand up. And with that, what Sankarshan asked about, like things about like doing podcasts versus the same thing, like I can bring it back to the car analogy, which is like do you want to revisit stand up, etc. Is that like you're driving a car but occasionally like you see another car and like you just start driving it and like it doesn't mean you hated that previous car. So like you were riding the car of stand up for a while and then you see the car of improv, like you just park the stand up car sometime and then you enjoy driving this. It doesn't mean you're never going to revisit that or you hate that car. And like but like since you've already driven that car, you know how stand up feels, right? And the
Yeah.
same thing with the podcast thing. It's like, yeah, you're driving, but like every driver must like stop for a while. Like I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Drink
like
tea.
yeah, you have to park and like take a look outside and then you can drive again. And like we all have limits
You
and I
also
think
need challenge, right?
yeah,
Like if it becomes easy, let's say improv is like so easy to you guys, like you guys are just doing it, like after a point of time it becomes jarring, right? Like you want like a challenge to, let's say, like be a better improv artist. Like
no doubt. I
is
mean,
that what's
like
it called?
I
Improv
go
comic.
back and forth on that.
Uh,
Yeah, of course, challenge.
please continue talking as I change my location. I'll be on video. You can see me change my location because I need
Okay.
charge.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think yeah,
Vaishak,
obviously, like
continue, please.
we need a challenge and like more than challenge, like it has to be rewarding, right? Like a challenge. I would rephrase challenge like working hard to get a bigger laugh. So, for example, let's say me and Vishnu were doing a scene, right? During our first show, the joke would be Nikhil Yalidyappa, and people would laugh. I think that's the joke, and like we would be happy with it. But like as we work in a show in our more recent times, then like there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of back and forth. We build, and then hit that final punchline. That is more rewarding than just
Rewarding, yeah.
I think that's the
Makes sense.
challenge, and that itself is the challenge is to find that understanding and go about things in this way and like make it more rewarding for yourself. But yeah, the thing about you driving have podcasts, and I think yeah, dude, you can connect everything with that car analogy, I guess. And
Yeah.
to Dave Chappelle with that, like when now the very fact that he's able to preach and call it comedy is because he did all of that hard work before and like did all those sketch shows, etc., etc. So the fact that he's getting to drive a Lamborghini now and like people will just watch is because he drove that beat up Wagoner for like
To give context to like whoever's listening, like Dave Chappelle uh, had his own show. called the Chappelle Show, and then like there was a conflict with the producers or creators where like something had to do with race, I guess. Like I don't have
No, no,
like
no.
They didn't pay him or something, no?
no.
No,
They asked to change a female artist to like some white uh
no.
character, I guess.
Like
Artist.
it's basically like a lot of trouble with the producers. It had to do with them trying to dictate the content, and Dave Chappelle was not cool with that, and etc. It's like like one of the issues he pointed out was like once he had a trans character in one of his sketches, and the producers were all like, it's sensitive, it's controversial,
They
but
start
like
monitoring everything. Like it came in
but
between the
no,
creative
no, like
process.
they came and they told like this trans characters like all like it's controversial, you can't do this. But like for like all the while along, he was making fun of black people and like himself as a black person, and nobody pointed that out. And he's like, why this hypocrisy in this, right? So a lot of things basically. It's a multifaceted
So
issue.
and then he quit his own show, and then he went like cold turkey. Like he went like fully down. But they didn't pay him money, but they kept like making money out of his
He
own
didn't have
show.
the rights to his show. That's all.
Comedy
Yeah.
Central. That was the special, that 16-minute video he put out, no?
Yeah. And then now he actually the producers of the Chappelle show gave him money. Like, did you guys know that? Like recently, actually Netflix took the Chappelle show, and then they were streaming it. But Dave Chappelle like put in a special request. Like he told all the scenes, and he's like, "See, they're not even paying like my own money from my own show." And then Netflix took that show down. Did you guys know that?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Netflix actually took that show
That's
down.
the thing he addresses in the
Yeah.
video, no? He's
So
sitting and he's like bent over that video, no?
yeah, like he went like full cold turkey, but when he went like cold turkey, like he was still like every time he got that like a rush, like the comedy rush, like when he had to perform it, like he would go to some random parks and then he would perform. Like for a couple of years, he wasn't like in the media, but then now he's back. So I just wanted to give this context because or like we are talking about Dave Chappelle. Like I don't think a lot of people would know him
They know.
unless
Our watchers, I think, would know pretty much.
Dave Chappelle, I think, like, yeah. If you watch like comedy means Dave Chappelle, you'll know. Like
if
that.
I know, then I think people.
No. You are a seasoned watcher. Uh, if Dave Chappelle and all, like, pretty mainstream fellow is.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like maybe
also like
Bo Burnham is slightly not mainstream, or like Daniel Sloss.
yeah,
Also, he's edgy, so he's mainstream.
it's the commercial aspect, right? Like of a lot of artists, let's say even like Indian like Bollywood actors or like Tollywood or any actors, a lot of them make a lot of commercial movies, so they become like more rich and famous than an actual like really good actor. So it like the commercial aspect, because a lot of comedians now Kevin Hart, he made a lot of movies. He was a
Yeah.
proper comedian in movies, so like he brings in the commercial aspect. Now there is Russell Peters. Like Russell Peters, he didn't even do like a really prominent roles in movies, but when he does like shows, like he fills arenas too. Like Kevin Hart fills arenas too, but like Russell Peter fills arenas too. But Russell Peters, like he people go to watch him for the art form. Like he
For the
doesn't have any
stand-up he
like,
does.
yeah, like not for the commercial aspect.
People, it's
Still
see.
commercial, that's all. But yeah.
Russell Peters is still commercial, but still, someone. So see, imagine some like 13-year-old. No, not 13-year-old. Someone has watched Jumanji. Kevin Hart is there. They have watched Jumanji. Some 18 plus, because his comedy, his stand-up is 18. They watch Jumanji, but they don't know anything about like stand-up, or like they've not like watched, very rare condition, hypothetical. Like they don't know. But Kevin Hart says, guys, I'm doing a special. I'm recording a special. Come to Madison Square Garden. $50 per ticket. You'll be 3 kilometers away from me. People will still go because they know Kevin Hart. They don't care what he does. Whereas Russell Peters might lack that. If someone would stand up, Russell Peters might lack that. It's simple. It's like how Kanan
Yeah, that's.
Bollywood movie. It's
See,
like
I
that.
think like that adds a lot of numbers,
Like,
right?
why did Kanan Gill make a Bollywood movie? No one knows. Because to get Kanan Gill, if that movie was a good movie, it would have been like, oh, Kanan Gill is performing live.
No, but if he did a comic role, then like that adds to a context, right? Like Kevin Hart, most of his roles are comedy.
Huh.
So like yeah, they see him
But
as a
still,
funny guy.
but it's still someone who doesn't know stand up, but has watched Kevin Hart movie will go for Kevin.
Go, yeah. Russell
You and me
Peters.
will go watch the stand up. Others will go watch Kevin Hart
Yeah.
like that.
No deny he's good though. Or like when you asked me like
Yeah,
who's,
he's
or like
great.
when you
Great anecdotal
asked me,
comedian.
yeah.
I
Hey,
really like few of his. There's that one in, I think his first special, Little Grown Ass Men, or I'm a little man or something. I'm not able to get the name of the special correct, but he has this one ostrich story. Oh,
oh yeah,
I watched that bit 15, 20 times. I'll still laugh. I know it almost word by word. I still like really like that bit of, I mean, the ostrich story where he turns, runs. Good.
yeah.
And the thing about you asking comedy is important. Yeah, I guess it's.
Yeah, I want to talk to you guys, especially like what do you guys think about this part?
Do you want to keep that as the last question and close on that? Close on humanity.
Yes.
You want to close on humanity, comedy, and humanity? We've been going on. But yeah, if you have chat, if anyone has questions, you can go for it. We'll answer that. We'll answer. This will be. We'll keep answering this. And is this a podcast for today?
Yeah. So I guess for me, I believe like storytelling is human and comedy is just a subset of that. And like, comedy doesn't have to be you doing stand up or you doing improv or like anything. It's just like you can be with a group of friends and make the other person laugh. And maybe it's you trying to be the funny guy amongst all of your cousin sisters and, trying to be making them laugh. I guess that's comedy in itself too. It's to like make people happy and make people not just happy, but remember you and think about stuff and just hold on to things. I guess, and I guess that's what it makes. What makes this human is like in our lives, each one of us would have touched the other person, right? Perverts don't get ideas. But like I guess we
That's
have
someone's heart, Vaishak.
not heart and all, but like we would have impacted also, but like just I guess an influence on each other's lives, and like to influence that is by and how we influence each other is like through stories. So how we tell our stories and how we make each other's laugh, how we make each other cry, how we make each other angry, and like uh, how we make others happy, and like all that stuff. I think it's all what makes us human, and like comedy is just a subset of that. And us taking that and making that into an art form so that it's more easily accessible and we can tap into this one resource of the human heart, which is comedy, and like stand up and do this. I think, yeah, end of the day, it's just to like, leave people in awe and just live. I guess that's all.
Mm.
Yes, that's my answer. Yeah, that's pretty much it, no? But technically, like actual answer also was yes. Like I don't have a big explanation to that question. Is comedy like helping people, like whatever? Yes, that's all. That's all my answer is. Simple. He gave like a very like the emotion part of it, where he like a bigger picture of it. I'll give you a very transactional answer that people pay 1,500 rupees for
To forget.
to go watch Kenny Sebastian 2 months later on one day. On 15th October, I'm going to go watch Kenny Sebastian from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and laugh for 90 minutes. And here is my 1,499 rupees. Simple. Yes, that's all is my answer. I don't have anything else to add to this. Simple.
Yeah.
And it will always be.
Yeah, like why would people also like pay so much to just watch a person talk, right? It's
Yeah.
because they see themselves in it, I guess. And yeah.
And also like comedians get shit a lot, right? Like comedians, like that's their whole part. Like they have to uh like crack few offensive jokes. It's like they are walking on a very like tight rope. Like they have to find the balance. And when they're trying out new material, like sometimes few things might come out offensive. So I think that like people, when they don't like a comedian, like, or if they get offended from whatever he say, stop listening to him. That's all. Like don't put in extra efforts to like spread hate.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a random
Yeah,
ass advice I wanted to give.
yeah, I'm like that. I'm like that. I don't like Trevor Noah. It's not like I've reported him 15 times. Not
Let's
like
wear a
I've sent mails
t-shirt.
to him.
No haters. Like fuck off haters.
It's not like I've preached my hate of Trevor Noah to people. It's not like that. It's a
Such
very
a subtle.
yeah. It's a you if you don't like Trevor Noah, don't like him.
Yeah.
You should not like him, but you can be with yourself. But yeah, what you said makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
like, comedians, I guess they do that to, like, uh, that walking on tightrope is to get a reaction and like to get noticed, right? To get noticed. But like, yeah, like you said, what was I going to say? Uh, Apart from that, the whole thing about walking a tightrope and comedians doing this all again. Yeah, I'm just mumbling. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all.
Wait. I want to say something, but like it just
Go
like
ahead,
you,
Prashant.
you
going
can
through.
you can like tell whenever you think
You
of
can
it.
leave it in the comment section below.
Yeah.
Will you guys be doing this regularly? Because I
yeah,
want you
actually,
guys
like
to.
we settle this debate. Settle this debate. We'll do this online. We will do this online.
Yeah. What I wanted to tell was like, yeah, I think with walking that tightrope, a lot of what comes with it is like being scrutinized and like everybody judging you and all of that stuff, right? So like it's almost like when comedians walk that tightrope, they know they're walking on that tightrope. It's not like they know that they're going to be scrutinized and there are like millions of eyes on them and etc. So like they're under enormous pressure already. So like if you don't like this shit, like you said, just shut the fuck up and live your life, right?
Or
Don't like
you can not like Trevor Noah.
yeah, but like yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like yeah, life and I don't know, like what we spoke a lot and like
Good first episode. We spoke around
It was fun,
40
guys.
minutes, which
I
is
had
a
super fun.
good amount.
yeah, and
It's 45 minutes, huh?
1 hour 45. 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
We started at
suspected
2:15.
Yeah.
We started at 2:15. It's 3:45 now.
It's like each
1.5
person
hours.
spoke for 45 minutes.
Yeah, 1.5
Mostly.
hour we spoke. Yeah, solid 1.5 hour we spoke.
no, like a lot of things is that like we are new to this, we don't know what we're talking about, so like we're just
Yeah.
having fun and like seeing like when we're talking, it's almost like we realize what we think and like hey,
Exactly.
there's this side
Yeah.
to me as well, right?
Yeah.
And
It's like
Going back to
therapy
the
in a
first
way.
conversation, man. Let's try to funnel it in towards the end.
yeah, and I guess like yeah, it's fun and like we will try to keep doing this.
Please do this more
Yeah, we
because
should do this.
we want
Should-
this form of content. Like I
Yeah.
would or like whoever's watching it, like 1 2 3 4 5, like how many ever people are watching this, like the long form of content, right? Like either listen to this while working out or listen to this while doing something or cleaning, mopping the floor, do whatever the fuck you want, but you can do this parallelly, and we should encourage this medium of content. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing this, guys.
like yeah, what we think now, like we're just saying it and like we change and like later when we revisit this we'll be like hey, I used to think like this.
Yeah.
No,
No, like we've said this. Like imagine we had fans, okay, like diehard fans. Imagine we had diehard fans.
We have no, of course.
So I take Suraj as our BBB's diehard fan. I am your fan, da. I am your fan, but you are also our fan.
yeah.
Imagine he's listened to this. 4 weeks later, we are doing one more same this stream. 4 weeks, fourth stream we are doing, and we say something. And this first stream and fourth stream doesn't match, but the time gap is 2 weeks, and we've learned something in that 2 weeks. If we come
Yeah.
and tells guys, what is this? You told in first stream like this, in fourth stream you're telling like this, you're doing like this and this. If he tells
Don't hold us responsible for what we spoke.
that and all, you should not tell. That and all you should not tell. You have to be responsible.
I mean, yeah, but like what I meant by that is, like my opinion will change. Like our point of views will definitely change. So like that's what I meant. Like probably a few years down the line, definitely we'll have a different perspective. So
yes.
I mean, like, yeah, this is fun to do for us, so we're doing it, and let's see where we go with it.
Yes.
Like,
let's see who's the next guest for the next week. Is this a podcast?
To know that,
we just
please
have fun
follow BisiBeleBois to know more.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, thank you guys for whoever came till here and whoever was watching, recorded, live. Don't give a fuck.
Special thanks to Suraj.
Yeah,
Suraj Devraju.
Suraj Nagaraju, Suraj Nagaraju.
Nagaraju.
Love you. Yeah, love you, and like, take care of yourself. Everyone, take care of yourself. Stay safe,
Yes.
and
I hope to see you in our next stream and tell. I like Jim Saycast. I want you to tell that.
So now, do we have outro?
No, the outro is
Outro is bye.
bye.
Yeah, bye. And then Vishnu, do a music, Vishnu, please.
Thank you.
Do a outro.
Yeah.